Pakistan is in no position to be an arbiter of human rights. Pakistan actually legislates religious persecution of minorities. Pakistan cannot enforce the judiciary system, cannot guarantee personal security, cannot guarantee due process, and cannot provide fair judicial opportunity for its citizens. My experience of Pakistan personally is of over 4 decades of traveling there. I have a major extended family that lives in Pakistan with whom I visit. I've also been invited to go to Pakistan to meet with operatives who are former jihadists and look at their rehabilitation. And I've spent many years understanding and learning about Islamism, which is the leading threat to secular liberal democracy in the world. Possibly the candidates that we're discussing today, though I'm learning about the other countries. Pakistan's position on the Human Rights Council should be particularly contested. Not only is Pakistan the second most populous Muslim majority country in the world, just shortly behind Indonesia, soon to overtake it, but Pakistan also has a key role in the OIC. Pakistan champions Islamist values. The founder of Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, himself is thought to have been possibly of Shia origin, married to a Zoroastrian, today would be religiously persecuted in the nation that he conceived. On the eve of the formation of Pakistan, which is August 14th, 1947, Jinnah gave a speech in Karachi at the Constitutional Club and assured the soon-to-become new citizens that Pakistan would be a place where creed, religion, caste was beyond the business of the state. Within 60 years, we have seen that very systematically reversed and deliberately reversed, beginning with Zulfikar Bhutto, who was a political leader in Pakistan, who first of all defined what Pakistan considered to be the right kind of Muslim and someone who was not officially in the eyes of the state a Muslim. That was a very critical distinction. By that I mean that for 1500 years I'm a Muslim, I practice Islam, I observe Islam. For 1500 years, Islam has a very brief requirement to accept profession of faith as a Muslim. Pakistan is the only nation in the world to change the definition of Muslim. Even Saudi Arabia does not do this. And it did this for a very specific reason. Shortly after Bhutto's maneuver, it enacted certain laws which particularly targeted minority Muslims in Pakistan, the blueprint for which is the Ahmadi Muslim population, numbering 2 to 4 million people in Pakistan, who express a pacifist view and explicitly reject violent jihad. That is their teaching of the Ahmadis. These Muslims in Pakistan are legally persecuted and excluded from all forms of privilege that belongs to citizens. Why is this important? The Ahmadis are a very small community globally. Many people may not have heard of them. It is important because those legal blueprints are encapsulated in some of the world's most draconian blasphemy laws. Blasphemy laws that have come into the general conversation within the last 10 and 15 years, when we've seen massacres and assassinations happening in Europe in the name of blasphemy. Well, the legal blueprint for criminalizing blasphemy as it pertains to Islam in the eyes of Islamists, authorized by self-appointed arbiters of what Islam is, within the legislative structure of Pakistan, that kind of vilification licenses all kinds of violence. So in Pakistan, there are specific codes within the Penal Code of Law that define what blasphemy is. Pakistan cites that if someone is considered to defile the Prophet, to deface the Holy Book, to make a dubious expression if the name of the Holy Prophet of Islam is said, any number of vague and broad aspersions can criminalize an action into blasphemy. Why is that important? Because in Pakistan we have extrajudicial mob violence and vigilantism. So the woman that Hilal Noya mentioned, Asia Bibi, is a world famous case, 2010, was allegedly reported to desecrate some aspect of Islam. Many times these allegations are absolutely false and used for personal vendetta. And through the actions of a mob, she was incarcerated. We have countless cases like this of blasphemy. She still remains imprisoned as a result of this case and facing the death penalty. We have countless such actions of blasphemy, imprisoning people who are innocent. Additionally, in Pakistan, blasphemy protects only one version of what Pakistan authorizes as Islam, and does not protect or shield other religions or other religious beliefs. The major minorities in Pakistan are Shia, are Sufi, they are Baha'i. The US State Department reports there's only one Jewish person in Pakistan, but I know that not to be true. Many Jews, a few hundred, still live in Karachi, often within the shield of the Zoroastrian community, because they must live covertly. Those minorities are not given fair electoral representation. For you to be able to vote in Pakistan, you have to declare a profession of faith. The country, by vast majority, is Muslim, but if you're a minority Muslim that Pakistan designates as not falling within the boundaries of the definition, you can only be designated as Muslim if you say that you believe the Prophet Muhammad is authentic, and that you disavow all these other beliefs that relate to minority Muslims. So many Muslims would feel, I'm not in a position to judge another's belief, and therefore cannot attest to that, excluding them from the opportunity to vote. It is a remarkable corruption of what the ideals for Pakistan were, which was supposed to shield a community that felt threatened by religious persecution and rising Hindu nationalism in the Indian subcontinent. And instead, in 65 or 67 years, we have now a country which sets the standards for prosecution of a fictional crime. Islam does not see blasphemy as a crime that is judged by one mortal upon another. If blasphemy is a crime, whatever blasphemy may be, it is to be judged between the maker and the mortal. So in appointing themselves, Pakistani judiciary system, as an arbiter of what someone does is blasphemy or not, they're actually appointing themselves into the realm of the maker. Ideologically, it is patently un-Islamic. Pakistan is neither Islamic nor it is a republic. What I find much more troubling, however, is either are willing or willful, either are willing or willful or perhaps ignorant acquiescence to Pakistan, as often described as the world's first Muslim democracy. It has definitely the organs of democracy. By that I mean there is a Supreme Court, there is a National Assembly, there are elections, there are political campaigns. But just because the organs of democracy are there does not mean that the spirit of democracy is there, or that the essence of democracy protecting the most vulnerable and the most disenfranchised individuals can be present. Outside of religious persecution, we have targeted killings, disappearances. NGOs report possibly 3,500 or so individuals from Balochistan disappeared recently. The numbers may be as high as 19,000. Pakistan, for instance, has murder rates equivalent to Bolivia and Zimbabwe. When we look at the plight of women, which concerns me particularly, Pakistan introduced Hudud ordinances, extremely harsh interpretations of so-called Islamic law, and I'm saying that as a believing Muslim, where women who will report assault, sexual assault or rape, are actually designated as committing Jinnah, an Islamic crime, adultery. So women who've been raped are intimidated from going to authorities, or if they do go to authorities, end up incarcerated because they had the audacity to report that there was sexual activity outside of wedlock. So the women who are victims of sexual violence become themselves criminalized and have no recourse. If the women do not report the rape, which most women would not want to incarcerate themselves, probably would not, there is extrajudicial resolution. Families will have women marry the attacker in order to resolve the issue of rape. I'm a daughter of a Muslim family. My mother and father gave me every privilege. I have two brothers. Islamic inheritance allows a daughter to have an inheritance as it does a son. In Pakistan, women who would be having a privilege of an inheritance of land or money often are designated as married to the Quran. This is a practice. Or it could be married to an inanimate object, a tree. And the effort for that is to prevent the woman from having a legitimate inheritance and dividing an estate. These are contemporary practices. Now, you can all access many of the stats. I can give you the numbers of the penal codes. I can tell you about the clauses. But I wanted to, in the few minutes I have, tell you what it feels like to be in Pakistan in a climate of religious intolerance and legalized persecution of minorities. And my own experience of sitting with my family or my friends in living rooms in Pakistan, most of what I do when it's not medicine is talking about religion or politics. I am told, not in front of the person who's serving in the home, not in front of the driver. If I was in an airport, I saw somebody in a particularly fundamentalist garb, and I wanted to know what sect that person might be, not here in the airport. This is in a privileged and educated family. The climate of silence is extremely pervasive and reminds me very much of my time that I spent in Saudi Arabia, where people would not want to voice any topic, even in intellectual circles, even when we're in very sealed areas practicing medicine. The intimidation is pervasive on all individuals. If there is religious persecution legislated by the hybridized Sharia constitution that Pakistan now has, it means many judges do not want to pass verdicts on blasphemy cases. It also means that lawyers who defend victims of blasphemy cases themselves have been assassinated, and they have received death threats at the names of lawyers.